we have an exceptional turnout today. 1,200 participants. That's 50% increase compared on last year. It's wonderful to be in Istanbul. People in person, no Zoom, no Teams, just real people. So much better. AI is all the rage right now. Now, I love this cartoon by Tim Fishburne, the marketunist who was on our program Global Market Week 2 years ago. There's good news, there's bad news, and there's still a lot to figure out when it comes to AI. But today, we're going to be using AI with our fabulous team of interpreters. You're going to be seeing here on the screen a projection real time of the translation. I hope it's going to be helping you. It may not be 100% accurate all the time, but hopefully it's going to be helping you to follow the conference. Now, I realize that all of you may not yet be entirely familiar with WFA. Let me just say a few words of introduction. So WFA is the global organization representing brand owners. We have in our membership 150 of the world's largest brands, from Adidas to Red Bull to Volkswagen to Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Coca-Cola, Nestle, many more. And we have the huge privilege of having two of the most admired Turkish brands in our membership, Turkish Airlines and Arçelik. We also have national associations in membership. Ahmet is actually the president of the Turkish Association, RVD, and there are 59 other associations all around the world, Australia, China, Japan, US, Canada, Brazil. You add up corporates and associations, together we represent roughly 90% of ad spend. Now, at the beginning of this conference, I would like to say a big thank you to our conference sponsor. They are what we would call real partners, sticking with us through thick and thin, through the pandemic, despite all the uncertainties. They are here alongside us, and I'd like to say a big thank you to Double Verify and a big thank you to Dan and his wonderful team. Please, a big round of applause. And then there are the sponsors of Global Marketer Week. So this year is actually only one event in a series of events that take place during the entire week in Istanbul. And this year is a list of world-class organizations that support us, that make our week here in Istanbul possible. And again, I'd like to thank them, and a big round of applause to the partners of Global Marketer Week. And then there's another organization, I promise this is the last one. There's another organization I'd like to acknowledge, and it's Project Everyone. So Project Everyone are an organization, a really cool crew, that have decided and are committed to put the power of communications behind the Sustainable Development Goals. And they've come all the way to Istanbul with their booth, and their booth is on the first floor of the foyer, where you're going to be experiencing sustainable development goals yourself, okay? So whenever you have a minute over coffee break, over lunch break, go and check them out. You'll enjoy it. Now, today and in these times, it is a very special time to be in Turkey. The country has been hit by a terrible earthquake a bit more than 2 months ago. Devastation on a scale that is simply unimaginable. Devastation, desperation, human suffering that is affecting an entire part of the country. And when that happened, we got calls from stakeholders, from partners, from press. What will you do in April? And we told them immediately, we will be in Turkey in April, because we stand with you. We have here delegates from 40 different countries, from New Zealand, from Australia, from South Africa, from Nigeria. They've all come to Turkey in order to show their solidarity with the brave people of Turkey. Now, resilience, we need plenty of resilience these days in order to address and overcome all the challenges that come our way. And Istanbul is a good place to talk about resilience. You guys have gone through ups and downs in the past, and you have always managed to come out stronger and more powerful. There's lots of things that you can teach us in terms of creativity, agility, stamina to overcome challenges. Now, Istanbul and Turkey have lots of positive connotations for people all around the world. And so, before coming to Istanbul, we decided to run a quick survey among our members to see what is the favorite thing about Turkey for people all around the world, okay? So let's see if you can guess what they told us. So what came on third place in terms of favorite things about Turkey? Any guess? Can't hear you. Did someone want to say food? Yes, number 3 is food. Wow, that was good, that was quick. Number 2. I heard culture over there. History and culture. And Istanbul is a good place to experience and celebrate history and culture of Turkey. Number 1. People I hear. Turkish people. Way! So you guys, you have a reputation. You have a brand worldwide. And the brand is hospitality and warm welcome. And maybe you recognize for people here on the podium, that's the team that organized Global Marketer Week here in Turkey. So Ahmet, Zeynep, Yeşim, and Dilan. This is the 4 people who organized the RVD show here. Thank you very much. Now, you will have to work a little bit now. So if you could pull out your mobile devices, and we'll do it a few times over the day today, and we'd like to poll you in terms of how you're looking at the future. And in particular, we'd like to know your view in terms of what is your outlook for the global economy in the next 12 months. Okay? And so tell us whether you feel very positive, somewhat positive, uncertain, somewhat negative, very negative. So this is a test of the overall mood when it comes to the future of the economy globally, okay? Global outlook. Here we go. Uncertain, 39. Somewhat negative, 29. Somewhat positive, 19. Very negative, 11. Very positive, 3. Okay, I think this summarizes pretty well the overall mood. Not only in Turkey, but probably also globally. In summary, a lot of uncertainty and a lack of visibility in terms of what is ahead of us. When we look at the future, we have, on the one hand, marketers who navigate a world of economic uncertainty and a world that is marked by geopolitical tensions, okay? So pretty challenging circumstances overall. As if that was not enough to keep us busy, we have to embark on the biggest transformation ever, which is embracing the ESG agenda, society, environment that changes all around us. Now, rewind 12 months, and those of you who were in Athens last year will remember that. We had a conference, a debate, an Oxford-style debate in Athens 12 months ago, with 2 opposing teams and 1 motion. And the motion that they debated was, marketing today is not compatible with a sustainable future. Okay, so pretty provocative statement. After the debate, 74% of participants in the conference agreed with the motion. So 3 out of 4 agreed that marketing today is not compatible with a sustainable future. Now, increasingly in our industry, there is a sense that it's not time anymore for incremental changes. And what is required is nothing short of transformation, and a transformation on a scale that we haven't seen before. Now, that transformation is not going to be happening in a unidimensional manner. There are going to be different facets to that transformation. Yeah? And you've probably all heard of ESG, environment, social, and governance, the ESG agenda, because it's increasingly used by companies. No? Increasingly, companies report annually on their ESG alongside their financial statements. Now, let's look at what this ESG agenda looks like under the prism of a brand marketer. And let's start with the environment. So the climate crisis is the defining crisis of our times, and WFA is determined to embrace that challenge. And with the Planet Pledge, we've created a program that makes the CMO the climate champion of the company in order to accelerate the transition to net zero. Okay? That's an important program that we're running in that field. The second dimension is social. I think we all agree that society is changing very, very fast, and some might even say society is in turmoil. Just think about the challenges around diversity and inclusion. Think about questions around human rights and child protection. Think about the trend towards health and wellness. And in this field, we have two important programs. One is RAC, Responsible Advertising in Children, which sets responsible marketing standards for companies and brands that engage with children and adolescents. And then there's the DEI task force that drives diversity and inclusion across the industry. And then the third dimension is governance. And in our industry, it encompasses data privacy, brand safety, and media governance. Two important programs here, GARM, many of you will probably have heard of that program, which protects brands from appearing next to harmful content online and protects brands from funding inadvertently harmful content. And DGX, Digital Governance Exchange, which is all about putting informed consent of data gathering in the new value exchange between the consumer, the people, and the brand. Now, let me be very clear. None of these leadership initiatives is about containing threats, okay? This is not defensive in nature. This is about embracing what people aspire to, what they demand. This is about embracing the values that people cherish and the future that they envisage. And it's our contribution to shape an industry that delivers in equal parts for business, for people, and for planet. Now, a quick parenthesis to talk about how we apply what we preach, yeah? And what we're doing in order to reduce our own carbon footprint as an organization. So we're working with an expert auditing company that actually quantifies our carbon footprint annually. And we are putting in place some very concrete measures to reduce it. So for example, we've radically reduced the number of in-person meetings and therefore reduced international travel. We have moved to a renewable energy producer. We're incentivizing staff to walk and to cycle to the office. But all this is small potatoes compared to Global Marketer Week, which is the single biggest event of WFA in any given year. And this year's carbon footprint is in Istanbul 684 tons on the basis of the number of delegates, where they come from, the hotel, etc., etc. Now, 684 tons compares to 385 tons in Athens last year. So it's a big increase. Why is that? We have actually managed to reduce the carbon footprint per delegate between last year and this year, so it has become lower. However, the number of attendees has increased by plus 80%. So the total amount is actually increasing. So there's still more work to be done on our side. But going forward, we remain committed to bring people into one place in different locations all around the world. We think this is indispensable in order to inspire, in order to foster collaboration, in order to find solutions. And in today's world, it's probably more important than ever. So we will continue doing Global Marketer Weeks. Just a word before I explain this here. We don't think that offsetting carbon is a solution to the climate crisis. However, we do think that it has merits to offset carbon footprint of the Global Marketer Week as long as we don't have a net zero solution. So we will be investing equivalent of 12,000 euros to offset the 684 tons of carbon by investing in a wind farm project in Turkey later this year. And one more thing, we're running today a zero waste conference, okay? So everything here is going to be collected, all the waste is going to be collected, it's going to be sorted, it's going to be converted into useful materials after the conference. Now let's go back to the ESG agenda and let's look at the profound transformation that we've just discussed and how that will play out at the company level. And we've partnered with Kantar Sustainable Transformation Practice to run a big global research in order to understand three things. One is, what shifts have happened over the last 2 years in our industry? What needs to happen going forward? And what will be the role of marketers between now and 2030. Now, we've done this in partnership with 46 national associations, so 46 different countries, and we've reached out over 900 marketing decision makers. And this is a quick taste of what we've learned together. So marketers get it, okay? The vast majority of marketers understand that the status quo is simply not tenable. And it doesn't need to be a negative thing, by the way. It potentially unlocks huge new opportunities. So the next question is, how do we transform product portfolios and business models in order to align this to a more sustainable consumption and growth paradigm? Now, we've called it the circular marketing framework, okay? And this circular marketing framework has 5 levers in order to drive transformation. One is sustainability first. So sustainability is not just another brand topic. It's not a bolt-on strategy. It needs to underpin everything we do. It needs to be aligning business, planet, and people. The second lever is radical innovation. It's about changing the system and turning the model upside down. If you look at business challenges through the lens of sustainability, you're going to be seeing opportunities that you don't see otherwise. And we're going to be hearing about that later today. It's about transformative relationships. You're not going to be addressing legacy issues with legacy thinking. You need to be envisaging partnerships with NGOs, with governments, with other businesses that you wouldn't have envisaged in the past in order to address the scale of the issues that we're facing. It's about putting creativity into action. We marketers know how to tell compelling stories that get people's beliefs, choices, and behaviors to change. And finally, we need to be redefining value. We need to rethink how we measure success, and we need to measure the impact, not only on business, but also on planet and people. Okay? Now, it's difficult to find an analogy in order to compare that in terms of scale of change to what has happened in the past. Now, some say this is not dissimilar to the Industrial Revolution, but even I struggle to remember the Industrial Revolution. It's a long time ago, yeah? So the closest thing is probably the digital revolution that has been going on for the last 10 years and that is still changing our lives and our businesses today. Now, some say we need to be reinventing marketing, changing marketing. We'd say, to the contrary, we need to go back to marketing. We need to go back to what made us great, which is creativity. Find back our mojo. There are many, many indications that we've lost our way, that creativity is in decline. And it is high time for us to recognize that and to address it and to reverse that decline. Many members in WFA are determined to do that. And some have actually succeeded to turn it around and start cultivating and elevate great creativity. Bringing back creativity into marketing has the potential of attracting plenty of talent into our industry. It also has the advantage of offering what we came actually for in the industry. We came into the industry to create things, not to destroy. And let's think about this. People choose their jobs and choose to stay in companies on the basis of the values, whether they're aligned or not. They're prepared to offer their talents in terms of whether those talents are aligned with the overall direction of the business. So this is a hugely important item for the future of our industry. Now, the transformation to circular marketing is a big mountain to climb. But fortunately, a number of brands are leading the pack and they're showing us the way. And I'm delighted to say that we have the huge privilege of having some of the most inspiring speakers here today to share how they're going about it. It's just an incredible speaker lineup that we have today in Istanbul. Now, they are going to share their unique stories, but they have one thing in common, is they go for radical transformation. They don't go for incremental change. And they are determined to embrace a vision that is a triple win: business, planet, and people. So here's a quick overview of the program. Our first two speakers will kick us off on the scale of the transformation that is needed and how it unlocks incredible opportunities. After the coffee break, we'll hear from two of the world's most admired brands in terms of how they're redefining value. How do they redefine success? And how they're starting to measure their impact on people and planet. After lunch, we'll go for a full-blown Oxford-style debate, two opposing teams, one motion, and lots of fun. And we're going to be ending the day on a fascinating case study of how sustainability can drive creativity and radical innovation. So a wonderful program, enough from me, and let's now jump into the program of today.